Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's episode, we are reacting to the major news that Liverpool have contacted Newcastle United around the potential transfer of Alexander Isak. What does this mean for the rest of the league? Is this the league title next season wrapped up? And does this mean like dynasty for Liverpool? Like, we get our thoughts in a minute. Let's get it, Christian. Okay, Christian, right. Liverpool have contacted Newcastle United around the potential transfer of Alexander Isak for a reported £120 million. We've done a few Liverpool videos, probably a few too many this summer for our liking, because it means they're moving mad and it means they're moving well. This is one of them it's not like shocking, because I suppose going into the summer, it was like, is Arsenal going to get Isak? Is Liverpool going to get Isak? Is anybody going to get Isak? And then obviously the Wirtz signing felt like, okay, Liverpool have done their biggie. They also replaced the fullbacks. What's your initial takeaway on this, Christine? Obviously, you lost out on Florian Wirtz to Liverpool, which you were a bit disappointed with. I think you even mentioned that you would have probably gone for Isak over Wirtz if you was them. Now it looks like they might be going for both. Give me your initial thoughts, and obviously as a direct rival, what do you think about this?
Oh, worrying cock. But no, mate. Look, I'm concerned. As should the rest of the league be. I'm looking at this as a Manchester City fan. You as a Manchester United fan. It's devastating, because I don't know how my club can sit there, watch this happen. They've gone out there, they've big dicked, they've gone and got the best midfielder in Germany, and now they're going to get best or second best Premier League striker. He has devastating stats. He's incredible in front of goal. It's not just what he does in front of goal as well. He's a brilliant striker. He will take so much of the weight off Salah whilst bringing other players into the game. He's a great footballer. I'm seriously concerned, Alex. I really am. Like I said to you, joking apart, I did think it would be one or the other, so it didn't really make sense that they were going balls to the wall for Florian Wirtz, especially when the midfield looked as powerful as it did last season. I didn't really feel like it was an area they needed to concentrate on, but if this is what they had in their mind all along, and when you sent me that text last night and you said, or was it the night before maybe, and you said Newcastle are in for Ekitike, I was like, that's worrying, because are they doing the famous, we don't want to get rinsed once a club knows we've got 200 mil cash on the year, or 150 mil cash on the year, whatever the transfer is going to be. Yeah. So are they getting their business done before that potentially happens, and then they will get the best price out of Liverpool? Which, if we're looking at this pretty basic, that looks exactly what's happening here, because I don't really think the signing of Ekitike makes sense if you're playing him alongside an Isak. So yeah, is it a bit of an admission from Newcastle, and they're now welcoming it and they're open to do business? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm shocked, because I just generally just did not think that the outlay of 240 million, whatever it'll be on the pair of them, was something Liverpool would entertain. But then I never thought they'd go and do the Wirtz signing at all.
Yeah.
So, look, I think that they are doing what a big club should do in this situation, where you renew your two best players, who are your eldest players. So because you've renewed them, you have to go all in. I thought all in was Florian Wirtz and the two new fullbacks. I didn't know all in was Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, two new fullbacks. I mean, are they going to stop there? Do you know what I'm saying? Isak, I mean, look, we did a couple of Wirtz episodes. We had a load of interaction with some great Liverpool fans. Hopefully they're watching this, and I'd like them to get their thoughts in the comments on this one. I mean, I already know what their thoughts will be, but still hit us up and let us know anyway. Isak is as much of a slam dunk signing as you can make right now in world football, because he has done it in the Premier League, which is what is important when you're spending this much money. We've seen teams piss money away on strikers who have not kicked a ball in the Prem.
Yeah.
And Isak has kicked a ball in the Prem. He's kicked a ball in the net a lot in the Prem. Over the last 2 years, he's scored over 20 goals. He is he is lethal. I mean, we did a Gyökeres episode last week, Christy, and anybody watched that will have seen that we did a little segment on Haaland, Isak, and Gyökeres.
Yeah.
And we looked at the shot conversion rate, how clinical those three strikers are. Alexander Isak is about 3% off Victor Gyökeres' conversion rate. He's about 30. I think he was 31%. Isak. I've not got it back up. I think it was about 31%. Alexander Isak scores 31% of every shot he takes in the Premier League. That's ridiculous.
It is, and not only that, Alex. Do you know what this reminds me of? Back in the day, obviously our two clubs, when they were moving correctly at that time.
Yeah.
They were fighting. Obviously, City had just took the title off you for the first time, and Fergie, we knew, was nearing the end. So he was like, I want to bow out with the Prem. I said City would never win it, so I'm not letting him go out with it.
Yeah.
Let alone that. So he went out. We saw Van Persie had ripped the league up the year before. Both City and United moved on Van Persie. Now, yes, of course, we're talking different fees because of the timing, and, you know, things are different nowadays. However, why this is even more frightening is when United did do that, City were technically the top dog. We would just won the Prem. We were on top. It was whoever was going to get him. If City took him, it would have established our dominance and we'd have gone even further ahead. If United got him, we saw what happened. You took it back off us. Now, there was not really a big swing of the pendulum. It was kind of neck and neck. Liverpool aren't neck and neck with anybody, Alex. They won this by a mile. They won this at a canter and took the foot off the gas for a while. So them adding Isak into this and Florian Wirtz on the back of that, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not concerned, because I think any City fan that just has arrogance and wants to sit there and go, I'm not bothered. How are you not bothered? And if you're not bothered, you're as daft as the club we're supporting that are as happy to let this happen. It's madness. You are watching them act like a big club. They're on top and they're getting more on top. They're going even further ahead. Yes, fair play to Arsenal. They're going to got Gyökeres. Anyone that wants to hear our feelings on that, me and Alex both align. We do think it's a good deal. But there is no getting away from the fact Isak has done this in the Premier League. I don't want to be one of them guys, but I did reiterate this in the Gyökeres video. As much as we can go off his stats and you do want a proven goal scorer, you don't know what you're getting until you see them kick a ball in the Premier League. And you can only go off what they've been showing you, where they have been playing. Isak, Alex, there's no risk. We know how good this guy is, and also we've seen him doing it in a, no disrespect to Newcastle here, but a lesser team. He is going to have better creators around them. We've just seen they've added fucking Wirtz to them. So what is it going to look like? I'm really worried, bro. Just tell me your thoughts. Look, I'm coming at this from a City fan. I will give mine on where we're at, and I'll deeper delve into it. But just tell me, I know, your rivalry with Liverpool is huge. What does this mean, where your club is at and the way your club is moving and where Liverpool are?
Yeah, it's this one hurts, to be honest. All jokes aside, and I will always try and give a fair reaction to everything, and I will in this. I'm not gonna mask it with anything, because I do think it'd be incredible if they pulled this off. And I think I mentioned that the Wirtz signing was a statement of intent towards City. This is a statement of intent to every other club in Europe and in the Premier League specifically, if they manage to pull this off. I mean, look, even Christian, if they went and got Ekitike, it's just like what they're just moving. Whether we think Ekitike is good or not, it's another 70 mil on a number 9 that they need, quote unquote. From my perspective, this one is the timing of where United are at and where they are obviously at. It's absolutely devastating, to be honest. And this news today it really is tough to swallow, honestly. And I am just worried. I'm worried about what the next 10 years looks like, to be honest. Because I'm looking at the Premier League and I think Fergie spent his whole career trying to top Liverpool. To what this might look like in 5 years is scary, to be honest, because I could see a Pep Guardiola leaving City. City's transfers have slipped anyway. I don't know really if Arsenal have anything really to compete with this. I'm not even just meaning this year, Christian. I'm talking I just don't know projecting if Liverpool can compete with this. We don't even really know how good Slot is or how good Slot is going to be. It looks like in 5 years' time, he might be one of the best managers in the world. It's scary, really, because I'm thinking, honestly, I'm looking over my shoulder at City for total titles won, and I know it's just a figure, but this, you can forget this. If United do not sort their shit out, and really, like I was saying to you about the Vert stuff, you just need to morally punch back. You just need to look at the 120 mil or whatever it was on Verts and go, okay, I know Cherky was right for the money. Just go and spend. Go and get a marquee signing as best you can. I know United can't do that because we've no money. I know that United have nothing. We are scrambling around for God knows what Klarna agreement to sign Brian and Mbeumo right now. We've just finished 15th. We've signed one player who had a release clause. We've sold no one. Liverpool look like they can sell players, look like they can sell more than they've already sold. They've got money in for Kwanzaa. Looks like they could get Elliott out the door, Nunez out the door, Diaz out the door. This is going to be one of them summers where it goes, yeah, we broke the Prem transfer record twice, but our net spend's 150 million because we flogged 3 or 4 others.
Yeah.
They are moving like, honestly, it's scary because obviously you've just won 4 in a row. Look, if this comes off, I will be stunned if they don't win the league next year, Christian. I mean, before we even get into dynasty, let's just immediately write this off because unless Gyökeres, the 38 goals translates, how are they going to overcome this Arsenal? Seriously.
For me, there's too many ifs and buts around every other team. Liverpool are already pound for pound the best. They've gone and added Florian Wirtz and they've gone and go and add, well, you know, we're looking at this, and they're certainly considering going adding Isak to an embarrassment of riches.
Kirkes over Robbo.
You forget they're getting significantly better in other positions, and I've got a bit of a wild take as well. I don't know what it will be amongst Liverpool supporters. To be fair, hit us up. But I think them moving on Trent. Yes, I get what you lose. There's nobody else in the world that can do what he does from right back. I totally get that. But I think the way you guys could now play with flying fullbacks, that athleticism that your two now will bring, are you going to be even more devastating? Are you going to put teams away in an even worse fashion than you were doing anyway? And this is where I am. I'm genuinely worried, Alex. And this is the thing where I've watched City, all the Prime documentaries that my club's done. And there was one when we were battling it out with Liverpool, and Pep is in the back room with his backroom staff. I think he was actually Arteta, to be honest. And he was talking about them 3 up front, that dreaded front 3.
Yeah.
Mane, Firmino, Salah, right? And he was going, they're basically terrifying.
Yeah. In the clip.
Now, don't quote me. It was something along the lines.
It was, yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. So
I think
now,
that was worth the word.
Don't think that these guys don't speak like that. They are humble football guys, just the same as us as well. Don't think they won't be turning on their TV and being like, "Oh shit." Because, but this is what I don't get, Alex. It's like, what are we doing then? Yes, I'm happy with City's additions in the transfer market. I do like Reinders. I do like Marmoush. I also like Cherky. But when we're looking at this, Alex, we need to we're already behind Liverpool significantly on the back of last season, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Now, we need to not only get back to their level, but then we need to look to surpass them. Liverpool have significantly just made themselves better. And if they go and get these at one over the line, Jesus Christ, where do we stand then? And I just don't feel like City are really, whether they're taking this seriously or whether is there just an acceptance that we're going to do a sort of slow rebuild. Because I tell you what, if we're going to sit on this and we don't think we need anything else, then I am not taking that as a serious title challenge. You've conceded that before the season starts because they're already better than us. And what we've done to the team is not enough to say we've got back to that level and surpassed it, and they've got significantly better on top of it. So there's no one, even Pep himself couldn't seriously look at that and go, yeah, the additions I've made, I think we're going to take over Liverpool. And this is where I'm losing touch a little bit, and I don't know why. You spoke about a marquee signing, Alex. We lack quality in the top area of the pitch. We've got Haaland, and I feel sorry for the guy. He's out on an island. He's got 2 wingers who can't cross, create, and indecisive. At best, they get in behind the man. They make the wrong decision every time. Why are we not looking at Rodrigo? Now, Real Madrid have made it obvious they want to sell. Why on earth are we not acting like the big club? What has happened to my team? We used to poach guys. We used to go to Leicester and be like, Mahrez, he's going to be one of the best wingers in the league. Well, he already was, to be fair. Let's go and take him. What's happened to my team? What is it now that we've got Doku? And we're thinking that's okay. Oh, well, let's go and get another one from the fucking Belgian league and try him out for a year and see if he's any good. It's just these bullshit punts. We're becoming like every other team. We never acted like this. We used to do our due diligence and we used to go and get the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And we've turned into this mess where we're like, oh, well, you never know, he might come good. No, I do know because I'm watching them and they're not good.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, you're looking at them last season. That Liverpool finished with 84 points, and you said it perfectly. They were under zero pressure, and they took the foot off the gas. Really, I think after they went out of the Champions League and lost in the Carabao final, it was like one game a week till the end. We're going to win it at a canter.
Yeah.
Whatever, 84, 86 points. Let's not get into it. Just win the league, and they did. They did win the league. They scored 86 goals. Appreciate Salah had an amazing return. He might regress slightly. If they scored 86 goals last season, and you're telling me that Wirtz and Isak are going to be suiting up over Luis Diaz / Soboslai and Nunes, who was playing number 9, or Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
Well, how is that 86 goals scored last season going to go down? Never mind how much it's going to go up by, because Arsenal scored 69 goals. So yes, we both think Gyökeres was a good pickup, but that's because we thought Isak was off the table. Liverpool they're really like bullying. They're bullying Newcastle here because they're treating him like a little boy. They're going, this is what they basically said. You give us your best player right now. We will pay you for him, but we want him. And he probably wants us, really, if you pushed Isak. I'm sure he's got a great relationship with the fans, but Christ, the way Liverpool are moving.
They've basically gone to Newcastle and said, give us your girlfriend or we'll take your side, bitch.
Yeah.
That's what they've done. And they've got a decision to make on the back of that, which it's honestly... how do Newcastle come out of it? Look, we'll touch on it now. I know, obviously, we have a loyal supporter, shout out Ryan on the channel, and he's a big Newcastle supporter. What this means for them. I mean, do Newcastle long this out and potentially... The only thing I could think of, and I was like driving home from work today, and I was like, do Newcastle try and play him a little bit? Do they half entertain the contact with Liverpool while they wrap the Ekitike deal up, if that is who they know they need to get in, and at least then they're in the driving seat if they get that one over the line first. Because currently, like we just said, Liverpool they're being the big kid in the playground currently. So I don't know. I don't know what this looks like for them.
Yeah, well, if you want, the honest answer is, unless there is something that we don't know about with Isak, like you touched on at the beginning of the episode, you said, were they feeling out Ekitike because they know Isak's off? Now, that is news to us as of today, really. Obviously, then Liverpool have gone, oh, you want Ekitike? Well, we'll take Isak. If we don't have Isak, we'll take Ekitike. So you let Liverpool get Ekitike. You've got Isak in a locked in for another 3 years. Don't be unless this is going to become a problem for you as a club, or you need to sell for, not that they need the money, but I think if you sell, you can spend the money you get in as opposed to oil money you get off your owner. So unless that's an avenue they're looking at, where if we do sell Isak, we could get Ekitike and another one. I would not do that. I would not do that. Personally.
I think Liverpool are being very crafty here and very smart the way they're going about this, because look, this could very easily unsettle Isak. He's gonna hear this news. Is it gonna turn his head or not? Look, and I know he's embraced the culture at Newcastle. The fans love him. He loves the fans. That performance in the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool, ironically. Look, he could say he wants to stay. We have got to play devil's advocate. But I think what Liverpool are doing is they're being crafty. They're putting the feelers out there, and suddenly he's going to look at this like, well, they've just got Florian Wirtz. I know where I'm at in my career. Is that the best place for my development now? And how good am I going to look in that team in between certain players that they've already got? It would be an exciting factor for him. So Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one in terms of the way they're moving.
Yeah,
And
I mean, look, massive respect to Newcastle. They are doing what they can with the rules that are in place and the money they've got, and they have spent really well, and they've built a strong team.
they've been so
They're real,
shrewd, yeah.
yeah, they're a really tough outfit. But looking at Liverpool right now is they're going to be favourites to win the Champions League at this rate. Them and PSG, if they pull this off, Isak's going to be looking at this. I mean, Newcastle, they came fifth. So they are in the Champions League. So I suppose they do at least have that ticket to present to Isak. And he does, the fans are great. You know, Newcastle are a really great club for the Premier League.
Oh, they are.
And it would be a shame for this to happen because the power shift in the league, like I said, I just don't see how anybody can compete with Liverpool unless... I mean, we were talking about this quickly earlier. I mean, with Wirtz and Isak, you can allow Salah to fall off a cliff age-wise, which I don't think is going to happen anyway. Van Dijk's a centre-back, so I can't see that him getting loads worse because he's like a Rolls-Royce anyway.
Yeah.
And the midfield threes are they all 26 and under, 27 and under? Midfield three?
Yeah, it's a young squad, yeah. I think
the fullbacks now are younger.
Where I wanted to come with this, Alex, as well. So obviously we've seen Newcastle. I actually had a chat on the live with one of the Newcastle lads, and he was talking to me about we were saying about a transfer possibly to Liverpool or Arsenal.
Yeah,
and would he take a certain amount of money? And Newcastle, the risk I find with Newcastle, yes, you could get a huge payday off this, and it will allow you to reinvest significantly, and maybe you could get another 3 or 4 players and splash big. Where the risk is how many times have we seen this, Alex, and how many times, retrospectively, has it been successful as well? So, we saw when Tottenham lost Bale.
Yeah.
Now, they went into the market, they fell off drastically because they reinvested badly. We have seen this time and time again. People get it wrong more than they get it right. And especially when it comes out the blue, and it's at a bit of an awkward time in the window. I personally think it would be a huge risk for Newcastle. You are losing one of the best number 9s in world football, and you're going to say, we're going to roll the dice and we're going to go and reinvest. Don't get me wrong, and I do, like we were just saying, I really do rate Newcastle's recruitment programme and what they've done so far. Have a bit of an issue over the Elanga one, or, I'm not too sure what that one's about. But I do think they have made some really shrewd moves. I just think this would put way too much pressure on them. Don't get me wrong, they could get this very right, and they could really boost themselves forward. I just personally would be like, you've got one of the best number 9s in football. It's going to be hard to watch him walk out the door and kind of roll the dice on 3 or 4 other players and hope that 1 or 2 of them hit a ridiculous level. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the concern is, and you sort of touched on it there with the fee for Isak. He is in for 3 years, but if those 3 years aren't happy times, are you going to be back in this position next summer? And then all of a sudden you've got 2 years left, and then all of a sudden
like the Harry Kane one, isn't it?
And all of a sudden you got 1 year left, and in that last year he can sign a deal in January. Look at what Arnold's just done. Yeah. So are you looking at this and going, well, this is going to rear its head in the next 2.5 years, because in 2.5 years he can legally talk to Liverpool for free, basically. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? In 2028 January, Christian, Alexander Isak will be able to sign for free for somewhere else. So you think, 3 years. If he doesn't sign a new deal in the next 18 months, Newcastle, that 120, look at Arnold, nothing. Mbappe, nothing. Yeah. They're saying it with Konate now. Madrid are sniffing around Ibrahim Konate from Liverpool. Another one, nothing. And Liverpool are like, shit, do we sell him now for 20? Yeah. This is dangerous waters for Newcastle, because you almost want Isak to go, this is what the conversation should be. Either we are going to have to sell you now, or you re-sign a 5-year deal now.
Yeah, I do agree with you.
Do this.
I do agree with you. I don't think they're in too much peril now. I think a year on, definitely. So yeah, if you revisit this next summer and it's the same saga, it's becoming a bit like the Harry Kane one then. And we saw what happened there. Obviously, they then had to offload to Bayern. But yeah, what do Newcastle do? Do they stick or twist? It's a bit of a strange one for them. Personally, I would keep Isak as long as he's. not too unhappy about this. It all depends on the relationship now and what this means. Is Isak going to start pushing? And I think if he starts pushing, like, significantly, and we know what players do. Look at Harry Kane, the biggest of professionals. Oh, but he forgot training was back on that first day, didn't he? And then the England shit. And I think when it gets to them murky waters, do Newcastle start looking at this like you said about the contract situation, and then they're going to go, we can reinvest. Do we back ourselves that we get it right and we go again? Which, who can doubt them? They've done very well so far, and I wouldn't put it past them doing it again. But it's more what this means for us, Alex. To be fair, as a selfish point of view, Newcastle could go again and get better. And maybe in 5-6 years, it ends up being a great deal for them.
Yeah.
But for us right now, me especially, my team, this would be really bad. And this puts my team miles off the mark. And suddenly we're becoming that club, like Chelsea, where we just keep buying loads of players. But really, what are we doing? Are we top 4 now? Is that our race? And that's kind of how it feels like for me. Without a marquee signing, Alex, that shows me we're being serious about testing this Liverpool side, I'm not too excited.
Christian, as we sit here right now, I think right now City have got worse offensively from De Bruyne to Cherki. Right now, Cherki might get into his stride, but even last season, De Bruyne was still pretty go-to feel, and he did come up with moments for you. And in the FA Cup final, he was the go-to guy. With Cherki, we don't know, bit rough diamonded. We don't know how he's gonna get into the Prem, which is fair because he was 30 mil from the French league. Liverpool are potentially going to get Wirtz and Isak, and the fullbacks are younger and definitely better. Kirkes is definitely better than Robbo, even though Robertson had a good season. This is the opposite of what normally happens at Manchester City, particularly. Obviously, my club a bit further long ago. The thing that's happened here, Christian, now, do you remember when Liverpool won their first title under Klopp? Their only title under Klopp. First title in however many years it was for Liverpool. They won the COVID title 2020. And they went into that summer, and I believe they only signed Thiago Alcantara for about 25 mil. I've not got the actual stats here to back this up, but I think it was a very quiet summer. I think Liverpool ownership were like, look, Klopp, you've spent now. Obviously, their front three was settled, but they got Van Dijk, Alisson, Fabinho in quite close succession. And it was like a case of, right, you're kind of good now, mate. We've given you your money. You've won a title. There's Thiago, who was quite cheap at the time. See if you can do it again, right? City reacted in the market. I can't remember exactly what you did, but you reacted and spent, as did every other club, really. Liverpool didn't. Then Liverpool got injuries, fell off. City won their first of 4 league titles. That 2021 was the first of 4. Liverpool got close, but didn't get close enough, and you won 4 in a row. Look at the difference this time. This says to me, unless it was a financial thing, which I can't imagine it was, I know it was COVID, this says to me, we're not making the same mistake twice. We've won this league, first one in 5 years.
Don't sit on it.
We ain't just going, okay, Arna, well done. Very good effort, that. Your first season taking over from Klopp, winning a title for us. Oh, no. We're not doing that this time, boys, because we're a fucking massive club. There's 280 million, Mr. Slot. You go make this team better. You go make this team invincible. You go and put your foot on the throat of any rival that thinks they can clap back this season and the next season, because there's a good chance Salah and Van Dijk will be pretty good for 2 years. I'd say definitely 1. Go and win 3 in a row. You've just seen your team win 4 in a row. It doesn't feel like it at the time. It soon happens, though.
You highlight the importance of not resting on your laurels, and you go again. And you've always got to be aggressive in the market. You've always got to be open to new things, and also playing a new way as well. This allows them to move differently, especially with the wing backs they brought in. I think people forgetting the importance of them. Robbo was past it last year, right? They brought in one of the best left backs in the Prem again. And this is what I'm saying. They're buying fucking proven. So Kirkes is going to come in. He's going to be ready to go. They're buying Frimpong. Well, they bought Frimpong, sorry. Frimpong's going to come in. Look, yes, I did say this in the past. A couple of Liverpool fans weren't happy with it. But look, his defence, he does have some defensive deficiencies. His national team coach even said the same thing. But what he's going to give them going forward, and is it even going to matter? Because Trent was shit defending anyway. He's probably going to be better than him. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really going to matter, and the outlay this is going to give them. Suddenly, Alex, they were resting on Salah, and they had it all on him.
Yeah.
He can... People are saying, oh, well, what if, he takes his foot off the gas or his legs are gone? But like you said to me before, they might even be able to afford him a Salah drop-off and they still win it if that Isak one gets over the line. But I just wanted to say something to you, Alex. Obviously, you mentioned about my club and you said about us potentially getting worse offensively. I do know where you're coming from. And I understand why you said what you said. De Bruyne... Yes, a certain level of De Bruyne that you get in maybe 1 every 4, 1 every 5 matches is a higher level than Ryan Cherky right now. I would agree with you. I think overall, I do think we have got better because I think De Bruyne couldn't sustain that level over a year. And also, I do appreciate Cherky is a bit of a wild card, but I think what we were missing the most is someone being able to get a yard and actually put a very good cross in. And we didn't have it last year. De Bruyne was finding himself getting them moments wrong. We've seen, very early days of Cherky, but I am impressed with him. He looks like he's got a killer left foot, and he is going to help Haaland. But this is the problem, Alex. Yes, I'm happy with that, and I am happy with Reinders. Very happy with Aït-Nouri as well. But what is Pep doing in terms of these wide men? Because there's no rumours in the City, at all in the City sphere. I'm not hearing anything about us going for wide men. So that would tell me that he's happy with Savinho and he's happy with Doku and he's happy with Bernardo maybe rotating out on the right as well. Now that really, really concerns me because that is way off where we need to be. We know these guys are not good enough. I'm bewildered. I don't know. Pep is one of the greatest of all time. For me, he is my GOAT, right? But I don't know what he's looking at right now because it is obvious to everyone. Even the most loyal of Manchester City fans that are a bit, they follow blind. They've got to admit that if you watch Savinho and Doku, they're just not them guys. And we're not seeing signs that they ever are going to be them guys. Doku certainly not. He is a one-trick pony, and you know what you get with that lad. Unless Savinho shows something significantly different to what I've seen so far in his career, he's not much better.
You're looking for a jump that you don't know where it's going to come from. Just on the Liverpool spending this summer on the back of a title win, and you've seen your team do this repeatedly. My club used to do it. The first season you didn't really do it. It was after the 4th title. You went and got Savinho. Just Savinho? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, I'd have to look back and check that one. Yeah.
Maybe someone could correct us in the comments. If not, I can't bother getting City's transfers up. I think it was just Savinho anyway. So you go into that, you win 4 in a row. Just about that was Arsenal, wasn't it? You pipped on the last day, and then there was feeling that maybe De Bruyne there was some sacrifice in that title running. That was the first summer you didn't keep your foot on the gas. In terms of the transfer in terms of the transfer window, it was a light window for City. Then you come into January, and then this summer, and it's like the alarm bells are ringing as you come into January, and it's like you just took your eye off it for 6 months. This isn't like you didn't spend for 3 years like Spurs under Poch. This is like you were just like. We won 4 in a row, amazing. Okay, Savinho, good talent, get him in. It makes sense. He plays for the City group. See what you can do again, Pep. You're amazing. And then it gets to January and it's like, fuck, we might actually miss out on Champions League. Go and spend scattergun money or however you've done it in players that we don't know where they play.
Can I just touch on that, Alex? Because you bring up a good point, right? So, when we got to January, this is why the transfers made no sense to me, especially the defensive ones, right? I'll leave Gonzalez out. We all know why that one didn't make sense, and he's looking for the door anyway. Now, where you've got Vitor Reis coming in for a heavy fee, and we brought him from Brazil. Now, I know a lot of teams were looking at him, and City wanted to get it done. Then we also go and get Kusanov, right? When you talk about that position of centre-back, we all know as football fans, and especially in the Premier League, you need time to mature. And not many times you will see 19, 20, 21-year-old centre-backs who are at it. Even look how good Saliba is. Yeah, but that was a long time coming. He had to keep going out on loan until they could trust him. And they got it just about right. I will give Arteta that, to be fair. He was coming under a lot of stick, and he must have known, no, I'll wait till the time's right. Because we did it with John Stones, Alex, when we signed him, put him in. You remember that Monaco game where Falcao had his pants down. Now, that didn't exactly do his career wonders, did it? And I know he was in and out the team constantly. There was times where he was in the stands for months, and we didn't even know what was going on. Is he injured or just not fancy him? Now, that is why, when we are in... We were having a disaster at the back. So, buying centre-backs that are clearly for the future, why did you need to go and do that in January then? Because they were not going to help us till the end of the season. And you'd already decided 1, 2, 3 games in, you weren't going to play either of them. Because you sacked Kusanov off completely, and Reece never got a chance.
So how much Reece and Kusanov were 40 million each? Is that right? Or was Kusanov more?
About that, I think Reece might have been a bit less, maybe like the 30 mark, and then Kusanov 40-ish, yeah.
Right, okay. So let's say between 70 and 80 mil you spent on centre backs. This is actually linked to what this is actually linked to what Liverpool are doing right now, where it's eye-popping figures for Wirtz. It's eye-popping figures for Alexander Isak. City could have spent no money on Kusanov and Reece and gone and signed an £80 million centre-back. I don't have a name for you. I'm just saying you could have gone and got one instead of two. United do this continually. Yeah. We are now back in the market for a number 9, 2 years after we spent 72 million on a number 9.
Yeah.
Same thing on the right wing. We spent 75 million on Jadon Sancho to replace Dan James. 2 years later, Anthony, 86 million to replace Sancho.
Alex, it's like going to a car. It's like going to a car garage and you buy a used car off them and it breaks in a month. And then you go back and the guy's like, well, I did tell you to buy the brand new one. It is, treble the fee, but it'll last you. And you go, no, you know what? I'll have another used one. And then that one breaks in another couple of months. And you go back again and you do the same thing again. And this is what a lot of these clubs these days are doing with these endless punts. Now, don't get me wrong, any City fans watching, I do not dislike. I've not seen anything of Reece, and I'm pretty sure neither of you. But I do like Kusanov, what I've seen so far. Where I am pissed off is not the signings themselves. It's the timing of the signings.
Yeah.
Where our defence was in a state, and it still is. It is still a huge problem. That Al Hilal game was not an anomaly. We are not good at the back, Alex. We have got certain players that are past their best. And I have lost trust. I've lost trust in most of the defence. The only defender I actually like in the back line is the fucking new one. Ain't Nuri.
Yeah, Christian, I think the point you're making here is that you potentially needed a new Diaz, not a new Akanji. Now, Reece and Kusanov could have fit with an experienced defender like Ruben Diaz. Whatever's happened to Ruben Diaz, we don't know. If City, I said this to you in January now, and I'm not saying Kusanov is bad. I'm not saying Vitor. I've not really watched either of them, to be fair. And I know they have qualities. Obviously, Kusanov has qualities from what I've seen. But this is your point you're making. It's now we are in the bedding in process, and we've invested 70 to 80 million in this position of pairing it with Diaz. Well, what we might have had to do actually is spend 80 million on replacing Diaz. And this is the point that Liverpool are doing, where they're going, Núñez is crap. So what do? Do we go and get 50 million Mateta from Palace and then be back in the market next year for another 60 mil? Or do we just and go and get Isak for 120? He's 25 years old. Look at Man United, Christian, because United fans, I guarantee, will be like, oh, it's the Coutinho money all over again. And I know it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but let's just say United went and, say we went and got even just Delap. Let's just say, hypothetically, United got Delap. That would be 102 million we've spent on a number 9 Xerxes. 140 million on Xerxes, Delap, and Højlund.
It builds up fast.
There you go then. So you ask any United fan on planet Earth, do you want Xerxes, Højlund and Delap, hypothetically, if we did get him, we didn't even get him, but let's say we did, or Alexander Isak? Simple. So Liverpool, and the same with Florian Wirtz, exact same.
Alex, do you know why a lot of these clubs, though, are doing it? And I never thought, Mike, I'd be putting my club in this bracket. I really didn't. United have been doing it for years. The reason I think a lot of them do it is because they get to lean on this lazy stereotype of, oh, well, don't worry, because it doesn't actually matter if they come in and they're rubbish, because we can just use that old that old-time excuse of they're young, they'll develop, they'll be good.
Yeah.
So it's an easy transfer, Alex, because there's no accountability to it. They don't really have to take any heat because they'll go, yeah, well, we knew this anyway when we signed him. He's young. He's going to develop. He'll be better in 5 years. Well, that's giving you 5 years grace, hasn't it, really? That's all you've done it for. Because whereas Liverpool going balls to the wall and they're going, no, fuck it, we'll go and get Wirtz for €150 million. And if he's shit, we're going to have to fall on our sword. Yeah, but that's how a fucking big club moves, because that's what my club was doing. And that's why we were winning 4 in a row, and now we're floundering, and I don't see a way back. Not with the way they're going at things. And my team, like, just going back to Alice before we move on from it, you have hit the nail on the head. I don't understand. When we lost Vincent Kompany, I was never hearing rumours of, oh, Palace have got a 20 million guy coming through who looked good last year. Tottenham have got this guy in the youth as well. Why don't we pump them too? No, it was who is the replacement. It was Koulibaly. For a long time, we had a saga all summer. And we didn't get him over the line because their president just wouldn't do business with City. So then we went and got Diaz. Ended up being a great signing. Don't really know what's going on with the guy at the minute. But this is what I'm saying. Where have we got to now? What is my club's strategy at the moment? Why has it shifted and done a complete fucking U-turn? And we got to January, we knew we needed reinforcements. And by the way, we still do, because we've not seen anything more of Vitor Reis, and we've not seen anything more of Kusanov, because Pep doesn't trust them. So we still need a marquee signing there then. Because if you're going to be going the same next season, where you aren't trusting them, we're going to be conceding the same shitty goals. It's nonsensical. And honestly, this news has tipped me over the edge, to be fair, today. It really has.
Right, because I know it makes sense. I know that I'm looking at the ages of these players, and obviously Wirtz is the one that you look at and go, okay, it is from the Bundesliga, but he does look class. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I'm doing the maths in my head of where United invest in positions, but we do it in 65 million punts every 2 years. Well, let's just look at City, right? And I'm not having a go at Marmoush here. It's not his fault, to be fair to the lad. He has been brought into a team where he hasn't got an obvious position. But you look at, say, the price of Marmoush and Cherky, maybe like 90 million, 100 million on them two, whatever it was. I'm not going to go with Cherky either, by the way, because for 30 million, but I'm just doing, if you just say 100 million has gone on number 10 position, quote unquote, because Marmoush can't play up top. Well, 100 million.
We did bloody 60 on Gonzalez.
60 on Gonzalez. But if you just look at your offensive players and you're thinking, well, that's 100 million. Could I have just gone and got a £100 million player? I know that was maybe going to be Wirtz, that it wasn't. But again, it's like drips and drabs, and it's like, well, we'll get him because we don't know who else to get. It's a bit like what everyone's doing, whereas they're identifying, yes, it's a lot of money. And here's the thing as well, Christian, what I was going to say, going back to the spending summers that Liverpool have, when you look at the age of their team, other than a Van Dijk upgrade, when if his legs go in a couple of years, same with Salah, where are you looking at their team, barring injuries, and going, wow, that's a weak point? Because I don't think they've got any. And I think they're all under 26, 27.
Yeah, there's literally just them two, isn't it? It's just Salah and Van Dijk.
It's them two, and then this is when you... And Christian, just before you go on this, sorry, that's when you're going into the summer now. Say they pull off Isak this summer and they go and stomp the league. So they win 2 in a row. They go into the summer next year. Say Van Dijk gets an injury or his knees playing up, and they go, right, we'll go and get Mark Gay, and that's it. There you go, slot. 75 million into Palace. That's your one player this year. Go and win the third one, and he will. This is what City did continually. Sorry, go on, mate.
Yeah, no, just to say what you were saying then, it can easily slip, and yeah, if they, that will be their next one, you know, they're going to roll with this, and they're moving correctly, because then, like you said, they've just got to replace the centre-back when Van Dijk's either, you know, getting on a little bit, but one thing I just wanted to say is, you know, and I leaned into this when I was less pissed off, because it was just Wirtz. Now it's the prospect that it could be Isak as well. Now, I said, well, you know, if Salah does drop off, it could affect them. And yes, it still could to a certain aspect.
Of course.
But you've also got to take into consideration, this guy's not really a normal player. He doesn't really go... He's certainly not a Jack Grealish, is he? You know, he's... Look at the condition he's in. Is he set? Alex, could this guy go for another 3 years? He's not exactly showed signs of flagging, I don't think. This guy will probably never put anything bad in his body. It's another Ronaldo situation, isn't it? Where he probably doesn't drink anything other than water. He doesn't put anything bad at all in his body in terms of food.
And don't get injured.
So he doesn't get injured. So it's like, are we kind of like just dreaming a little bit, thinking, oh, well, don't worry, that we
Yeah.
might not get the version of Salah that we've been seeing recently.
Well,
And if
yeah.
he's firing and then they bring in these, good God.
That's the thing as well. Like, looking at they didn't get injuries last year. They did get lucky with it. In fairness, some of the other Arsenal obviously suffered considerably worse in the, if you want to call it a title race, injury wise. But they also signed a load of dross the summer before. So, but now you're looking at this and going, I'm looking at this team and I'm going, right, well, all of a sudden this bench of Liverpool's, if things aren't going too good, they could be looking at, say, Soboslai, Gakpo, and Diaz coming on as a triple sub in the 60th minute. Great. I don't even believe Robertson's gone, has he? So I think they've got Robertson as a backup as well for Kirkes. And Bradley at right back for Frimpong if he's struggling. So
exactly. That's it, Alex. And this is what we did. This is why we earned such a dominant era, because we weren't just resting thinking we've got a good 11. We ensured, and it's not just about injuries as well, Alex. It's them tough games away where you can't break a team down. And them game changes off the bench. You need a Gakpo to bobble one in. It doesn't matter, does it? You know what I mean? You need them players off the bench, and we were stacked. And that is what they're doing. Alex, we're not even stacked in the first 11. Our wingers are dog shit, and they start. So, I'm concerned. And look, we'll see what Newcastle's reaction is to this. All we've seen so far is that Liverpool have sounded out that either, like I said, we'll go for Ekitike, or we'll move on your guy ourselves. Newcastle, we've not yet to hear anything from. Let's look forward to their response. Please, Newcastle, give us a chance next year, because I think, look, Arsenal fans, I can just be honest, being a City fan, I know you get a few Arsenal fans who just live in fucking cuckoo land, and they'll claim they're absolutely not bothered about this. You should be, because to be honest, if you were in a title race last year, so were we, and we weren't. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, I hear you. No, you're so right, and I've got this horrible feeling of Isak in a Liverpool shirt, and it pains me to say it looks and feels right, and so does Kirkes. I can picture those Anfield games with Kirkes causing havoc from left back, bombing on, well, like Robertson did for fucking 10 years. Like this is. They're identifying and the signing, and it's frustrating to see because United are so far behind the 8 ball. I don't even know what to think, to be honest. I just want to, before we wrap up on this, Christian, I do want to just talk about. Obviously, your team finished 3rd last year, so you can at least see Liverpool in the road ahead of you. I can't even see them at the moment. However, 3 years ago, Manchester United finished 3rd in the league and Liverpool finished 5th. This was after Erik ten Hag's first season. We actually finished 8 points clear of Liverpool in 2023, which is actually 2 years ago, probably
That's
to the day.
For any Man United fans after that.
And you might go, well, United have let it rot. We've not replenished the squad. Well, listen to this. Expenditure since 2023. We've spent 100 million more than Liverpool, euro. We've also brought in 44 players and they brought in 39. So, brilliant. So in literally 24 months, we've gone from 2 places above them to me sitting here going, are they about to go and blow away 3 leagues in a row? And will we stay in the Premier League? Because you can, I tell you what, you can laugh, right? We were dusting around.
No, it's so true.
If one of those bottom 3 clubs last year actually had anything about them, United would have been dicing with death at the end of the season with relegation. Liverpool might be sat here now looking at a potential dynasty. And it just shows you how quickly things can change in football, where if you have a club that have owners that care about the club and get people in the right places and guys who identify the right weaknesses and the right manager in Arne Slot, who we all didn't think much of at the time, and now we're all sat here going, is he one of the best coaches in Europe? Because he did a pretty fucking good job last season when he had no money. So I'm dreading to think what he's going to do with money. and identifying the signings, allowing them to invest on the back of a successful season. I'm looking at United where it's like we we had we finished third, and then we gave 180 million to a manager with the worst talent ID, I think, on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And since that point, since we finished third, Christian, we've spent €535 million, and we have fell 14 places behind Liverpool. Liverpool.
How is that possible?
Before people even get into the net spend bullshit, this is just expenditure. I'm not even looking at the income. No doubt Liverpool have made more in that respect as well because we can't sell anything. Liverpool spent 427 million. I assume that includes Wirtz. I'm guessing it won't include Isak, obviously. So if they went and got Isak, it would put United and Liverpool at a net equal since 2023 summer. It's damning. And it just shows you how quickly things can go to complete shit with the wrong people making decisions.
Alex, but they make the right decisions on and off the field. They scout correctly. They buy the right profile. All things that United have done wrong in that period, and that is why they fell drastically and they've gone in an upwards trajectory. If you look at, like, I won't take credit for this because you made a great point before to me before we came on here, and you were saying what a great job Liverpool have done in raising profile of your, I'm not going to say, you'd have to say them as mid-level footballers, your Harvey Elliott's, your Cody Gakpo, yes or no, like he's still young, but what they've done is raise the profile of these guys significantly. They've brought that title. Luis Diaz, we've just seen they've rejected a, 50, 60 million pound bid. Well, what are they going to get for him? Because I think they actually are open to selling. I just think they're fucking smart. They're raising the bar and they'll get what they want. And like you said, they're going to come out of this and they're going to say, we took one of the two best nines in England, Alf Haaland and Isak, and we went to Germany, and under Bayern's nose, we took the best midfielder in Germany. And they could potentially say, guess what? We have only really spent 150 million, and we're going to have to all sit there and swallow it because it's actually true. But this is why, when they're a top club and you build from the core, and this is why, like we were saying, Alex, with the academies and how important this is from the bottom up and buying young players at a good age, and you build their profile, and you might be open to resell and make a lot of money. This is what it does, and this is what my team were great at and need to get back to.
Yeah,
and bro, honestly,
even Nunes, Christian, they have put him in a position where teams are going, is he worth a punt, Nunes? He came on last year, didn't he get 2 in the last minute at Brentford for a big win over Christmas?
Bro, what does that remind you? You're so right, by the way. What does that remind you of? Gabriel Jesus,
Sterling,
Arsenal, Alexander Zinchenko, Arsenal. Yeah. Really good fees we got for them guys.
You're not pushing him into the limelight too much where you're like, oh, God, he's going to show how shit he is. Yeah. We're putting him in this role where it's like, we know Nunes will get chances. If he comes on for 20 minutes, he can't physically miss that many, and he might bag a few. And like I said, was it Brentford where he scored 2 in the last 10 minutes?
2. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Big win at the time. I know it turned out that they coasted the league, but at the time it was like, Liverpool fans were on edge because they were desperate for to win the title, obviously, after 5 years of not winning it. And exactly to your point now, teams are looking at it and going, fuck me, you want us to go and spend 40 million on United's dross that weren't good enough to get in a team that came 15th, or Harvey Elliott, who was part of a very, very good squad. He had moments himself. Yeah. He's technically quite good, and he's cheaper than Garnacho. Give me Harvey Elliott then. Luis Diaz,
if you're deciding to copy out of a kid's textbook at school, you don't pick the fucking retard, do you? No, you sit next to the smart kid and look at their book. And that's what people are doing with Liverpool. And like when they were buying from City, you know what I mean? What United have done is absolutely screwed themselves. And they're even publicly going out with the press like we did on our last step and blasting them themselves. So if you don't rate them, how are you going to sell them?
That's funny, isn't it? Because I actually see Liverpool played a friendly the other day against Preston North End. It must have been their first pre-season friendly of the season. And Nunes scored in that game. And he did a nice little tribute to Diogo Jota, which was sweet. But it just made me think that Darwin Núñez is on a pitch scoring. Okay, it's a pre-season friendly. But look at him. Everybody knows Darwin Núñez is available. Even Darwin Núñez knows that. However, what a professional. Pre-season friendly against Preston North End. Turns up, scores. Look at our lot. Don't even come to training. We don't even want to see you. You can come to training. You can come to Carrington after Ruben Amorim has left the building. That's how toxic they are, and we want 40 million for him.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots,
Alex,
mate.
this is the mess. I mean, that's talking about United. I've got my gripe with my team, but listen, obviously we share this podcast, and I feel like when I go first and then you go, it kind of puts my problems to bed. I'm a bit like, well, I feel a bit better about myself.
Yeah, we're fucking idiots, honestly.
So yeah, but mate, look, we have to obviously do this news. This broke, and yeah, look, we both weren't too impressed at the prospect of this. But look, we wanted to get into it, and we'll see how it develops, and we might have to jump on again. But yeah,
man. Yeah, that's it. I mean, any you know, we've had some, like you said, Newcastle fans. We had a good amount of interaction on the one of our Verts videos.
Yeah,
from Liverpool fans. So if any of you is listening to this, hit us up in the comments. Like I said, if any of you are really feeling in a toxic mood, there is a quote in one of those where Christian is actually advising you to go and sign Isak instead of Verts.
Yeah.
So if any of you can find that,
doesn't make sense to me. They should go and get Isak. Yeah, well, we're doing both. Fucking have that. And that's what they've basically done to me. So that's me in a mood.
Yeah. If anybody can find it, I will probably try and dig it out myself. But yeah,
I'm sure you will. That short will be on later.
Find me the soundbite, and I'll do the rest.
Honestly,
I'm even teaming up with Liverpool fans now. Brilliant. Okay. Massive news. Massive news, and it is a. I mean, Christ, I called Verts a power shift. I don't even know what to call this. It's a fucking.
This is a fucking avalanche.
Oh, God. That's equaled our fucking 20 titles. Fergie spent his whole career undoing the damage Liverpool did in the 80s, 90s, and whatever other fucking decade they were great in. And now Fergie's going to live long enough to see it all undone.
I love how Fergie was like, not in my lifetime about City. He's watched them do 4 in a row. He won't have even thought about the Liverpool thing. No, that's going pear-shaped. God, Fergie will just be like, right, I don't even want to watch football anymore. I'm glad you did sack me.
I know, yeah, that's true. He won't be turning up if Fergie's got to pay for a ticket, God.
Nice, yeah.
Mate, ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, feel like shit, but well, whatever. You're doing what? Like I said, this is when we fucking won 2 in a row and went and signed Berbatov for no reason, just because City were interested in 2009. So, look, I hear you. I hate it. Fair play to you. Let us know what you think. If you like the video, hit a like, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. Appreciate it, Christian, as always. Catch us on the next one.